Um, Good afternoon. We're just gonna go over some runners from today. I apologize if there's any noise behind me from some construction happening at my house. It should be just a little tiny noise behind my voice, but yeah, let's get started. So how this works is I'll just go over runners today, how you could have played them. And then after I finish, I'll take any questions everyone has, and then yeah. So let's start with JCS. I think this was definitely like, yeah, see, that's the noise I'm talking about. If you can hear that behind me, but just try your best to ignore that. Sorry about that. But JCS, this was definitely play of the day for me. And me and Minnie added the flush to open like right around here. And the reason why we did that is because we were consolidating on support literally for like 2 hours after open, the same support that we held in pre-market. So we had been consolidating at that same level. Bids were there, good buys, and we thought that it was just gonna hit its pre-market high again. And it's just a really thin stock, super low float. So if something was gonna move later during the day like this did, it was gonna be this. So we entered around like 8:15, 8:20, which was this area. And we rode it all the way to like 9:20, 9:30, 9:40. It eventually hit around like 9:70. That's when this is the area I took most of my profits from, like the 9:20 entry. That's the first time I played it. Second time I played it was this downtrend break right here. So as you can see, we tested this line second time. So obviously this isn't going to be there, right? So as a trader, you have to always be looking out for support and resistance. So let's just say like this area right here. This is a good resistance line. And once you see something forming lower lows, that's when you should be like, oh, there's definitely going to be resistance here. And you could do something like that. Something like that. And you could just play this when it breaks this resistance. So how you would have played this is right when a full candle closes above this resistance, like it did right here, it comes down to retest it. That's when you'd probably add most of your position. So this downtrend right here shouldn't be anything you should be scared of. It's definitely something you want to embrace, something you want to take in, because you're going to be seeing this a lot. When something breaks resistance, it comes down, retests it, and then bounces off, just like what happened here. So when this broke resistance, it came back down to this same line, and it bounced off. So what we have here is basically old resistance becoming new support once it's broken. So, as we broke this line, when we did break it, it stopped from being resistance and it became support. That's literally what happened. So as you see, we came down, we touched the line, and we bounced off it as if it's support. So, and then for the rest of the day, it was just consolidating and then a massive pop in after hours. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I played this twice today. Both times were great. Made a ton of money on this sticker. Definitely play of the day for me. But yeah. Yeah, that's all for JCS. Anyone have any questions on JCS on this specific ticker? Nothing else. Let's go over it while I'm at it. Someone said I have a dinner. Okay, so we're gonna be uploading it to our YouTube channel, also mine. So you can just find this recording later there. Okay, so over where it consolidated this area. This part right here. So I think the person who said go over where it's consolidated. So there's two ways you could have played this consolidation. You could have played it, you could have bought support. So it came down once, bounced off twice, And then the third time, that's most likely when you would have had the confirmation that this is a support line, and that's when you would buy. So there's two ways to play off this channel right here, this downtrend channel. You could either buy the support, so every time it comes down to it, you buy the support, buy the dip, or you buy when it breaks the resistance. So that there's two ways how you play that channel. And in this case, it didn't come down to the support. It didn't get rejected. It actually broke the resistance. You buy when it retests, so around this area, and then you wait for the bounce. Okay, let's move on from JCS. Let's do IC. Okay, so IC, this was a mover from the start. And yeah, you could see this sort of rising wedge forming. Yeah, tons of noise. I'm so sorry about that, guys. I really wasn't gonna do the session today, but I was like, just do it with noise or don't do it at all. I thought with noise would be better, but yeah. If you guys want me to, I could just end it and just do the one tomorrow. Up to you guys. Cool. So let's keep going. So you can see this rising wedge on IC. So first it started uptrending in the morning. You can see a lot of volume come in straight up the morning because this has been a ticker that's been running for a good like 3-4 days now. And immediately when you're watching this pattern right here, you really want to start, like, you want to tell yourself, okay, where's the resistance here? So it kept trying to break this area. So without this line, you can just watch this consolidation. It kept trying to break this area over and over again. That's what resistance is. And once it did break it, what you want to wait for when you have a resistance line like this is a full candle close above the resistance line. So like this candle right here, where it closed above the line, that's your confirmation. A full candle close above and good volume. You can see at the bottom of my screen, this is where the volume is. You can see how dried up the volume is. But right when it closed above the line, look at that. Look at that big line flag. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to see this on Robinhood. Robinhood doesn't have a charting platform. So you could use Webull, and you don't need to. Webull.com is good. Thinkorswim, Trading View. Webull is definitely my favorite for beginners. But yeah, so that's your confirmation to buy. When there's big volume, a full candle close above, and if you did buy that, you would have banked. That's almost a $1 per share move, just right there. So I didn't actually play this, but I wasn't watching it that time. But yeah, definitely probably the most simple way to be trading and stuff like this. But then as we kept going into the day, it kept consolidating into a sort of rising wedge, like we see here. And usually with rising wedges, they end up breaking downwards. Most of the time it's bearish. But yeah, actually, let me. This is right here. It's an ascending triangle. That's what this is called, an ascending triangle, and then a break upwards. So someone said regarding JCS, whenever a ticker flushing into open, it's considered a consolidation. Yeah, well, it really depends. If it's just absolutely dumping into open, I wouldn't call that consolidation. But yeah, what I meant with JCS, where is it at? Okay, so right here, it was just literally sideways consolidating on this support, the support that we had in pre-market. You see in pre-market how we bounced off this line right here. We fast forward and we see it consolidating on that line. Yeah, so that's why it's like a high confidence play. When you see it's riding on support, good bids, good buys, and tons of room to run, super low flow, you know, something you can catch before other people too. We're going over IC. So yeah, for IC, this is an ascending triangle. You could take a picture of this if you like, just save it for later, just for studying. But what's the best way to draw fine wedges? I think like just imagine in your head how I do is basically like before it even happens, I'm like thinking about it happening. So let's just say we're like right here on the time, at the time period, we're just trading it as it's happening. I'll erase these lines. I would start to notice, oh wait, I see this resistance forming. And that's when I put a line right there. And then as we start to make higher lows like we are right here, then I'd be like, oh shit, this might be an ascending triangle. So then I would put my my trend line, and that's basically how I do it. This is the 1 minute chart time frame. Reversed 1 minute chart. Oh, give me a second. Sorry about that. Okay, I see. Are you using Webull right now? Yes, this is Webull. So you don't actually need an account to use their charting platform, and it's just really good. You could paper trade on it. And yeah, do you use different time frames? Yes, 100%. I told us before that your style differs from many. Yeah, so I'm more of like a more calm trader. Many just likes to buy breakouts. So for me, basically, I like to buy at support where it's just sitting like super calm, super low, like basically exactly like JCX. This is exactly the type of setups that I like. You know, low volume, not a lot of momentum. Can you show? Do you do callouts? Yeah, not for day trades. Oh, let's continue. I don't know why I'm answering a lot of questions right now. My bad. Okay, I see. So this rising wedge forming, it broke downwards, and we couldn't break above this level right here. This resistance right here. So we couldn't break it here. We couldn't break it here, and we couldn't break it here. 3 times that's resistance confirmed. So when we consolidated, we ended up gaining ground again. We formed a higher low, and we broke this resistance. Strong volume. Look at that volume. Consolidated above it. And since this was old resistance right here, and we finally broke it, what will it become now? If you guys have been paying attention for the past couple of days, I've said this over and over again, like what will it become after new support? Exactly. Thank you, David. So this literally is right now becomes new support. So the next time it comes down to this line right here, you want it to bounce off, and you can buy right when it comes down to it. So when it came down to it, you add some right here, you just sell, you sell again. It came down to it the next time, it ended up breaking. So you can add some the second time as well, and then you would sell for a loss. You'd stop out right under. That happens, you know? And that's just a false, well, it's not really a false breakout or anything. It's just it broke support. And yeah, so that would have been a loss. This one would have been a win. But yeah, so as we kept drifting, so yeah, so it was just downtrending the entire time. It ended up bouncing off this line. Now, why did it bounce off this line? Because this line was old resistance. So when we were talking about this earlier, this is an ascending triangle. It broke out, you know, upwards. And when it was, you know, consolidating in its triangle, this was its resistance. So once it breaks the old resistance, it becomes new support, exactly. And once something breaks support, it becomes new resistance. So once this broke over this resistance right here, this blue line now became new support. So the next time it comes down to this blue line, we'll be like, okay, this is support we can add here. So the next time it came down to it, 1532, it literally touched it and it bounced in that same minute. Perfect bounce. So if you had your limit by there right then and there, that would have been an easy 10, 15, 20 cents off the spot. Next time it almost came down to it, like three cents above, it bounced off again. Third time it consolidated for a bit and it just broke under, and then it climbed back on top and then just consolidated for the rest of the day with no volume. These same rules apply for swing and day trading? Yes. Time phrase used. Okay, I'll send. Let me send the time frames that I use for day and swing trading so you guys don't get them confused. Just save this somewhere, and whenever you hear someone on Twitter or Stockbits be like, "I'm swinging this," go on your time frames, try to chart it out. I sent it. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty much it for icy. And I would definitely not have played it towards end of day, like from here on, because if you look at the volume, it was completely dried out. But during this period, this was the prime icy. This is where you could have made a ton of money here. That rising wedge, bearish, ascending triangle, How do you know if it's a fake? I've been burned trying to get in after breaking resistance. Well, you can use plenty of things to help you. You can use volume. You can use, if there's resistance right above where you're trying to buy, you can use price action, asks, times in sales, level 2, things like that. But sometimes fake outs happen regardless. And everything, the setup looks perfect. You buy in and then it dumps right after and knives. And yeah, that happens. And sometimes there's nothing you could do about it. Not everything always goes your way. Move on to life. But yeah, like literally, if you guys want, I'm gonna pause this for a bit. Just take a picture of this. I wonder if I can send pictures. I'll try. No, I can't. Cool. So if you want, you can take a picture of this because it's just really cool. I think IC was the most perfect chart out of everything else today. You know, how we ended up breaking this resistance, coming down to it, testing, bouncing, coming down to this older resistance, testing it, bouncing. Someone said so by IC. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But yeah, is TradingView a good trading platform? Yes, it's very good. But I believe, yeah, TradingView definitely, there's a plans on TradingView. Weeble's free. So if you don't have a ton of money right now, you're just trying to get into it, I would recommend using Weeble just because it's free. TradingView costs like 35 a month, I believe. What indicators do you use? Like EMA. So for day trading, mostly I use VWAP. That's pretty much the only indicator I use. But right now I don't have any indicators turned on because I just don't want to confuse you guys. I'll just show you guys, you know, just the regular candles, regular chart, plain support and resistance. So it bounced off that top line, 1657 area. I'm not sure if I understand your question. Someone said, how do you identify stock that will be a multi-day runner? Like Acer. So let's go over Acer. Me and Minnie have been on this since like 7, and we called it going to 15, we called it going to 20. And that's just because what we saw in this, okay, so first catalyst was short squeeze. So short squeezes have been like hyped up recently. They've been going all the time. And this was really, really, you know, short. It has a high percent short flow. So that's pretty much our catalyst right there. What this stock has is room all the way to $48. So if you want something that's going to be a multi-day runner, it has to have room to keep running up. Like if Acer's previous high was only like $5, $6, I guarantee you would not have pulled this move. But this stock has room all the way to 50, almost $50. Like room as in a lot of space on the chart. So it's been at a high price before. So like this Acer has been almost 50 before. And you show us how to turn off the grid on Weeble charts last night. So you just go to chart settings right here and you turn off show grid lines. Yeah. Which razor was I forgot? Yeah, I was gonna mention that. Okay, all right, let's move on. Okay, life. So this was another runner today. Started off in the morning, I believe. Yeah. So from yesterday, this is resistance right here. I'm gonna delete everything else. Okay, this is resistance right here. We broke over this resistance today in the morning. I mean, last night, right before close. And actually, I'll just start from, okay. Okay, cool. So since I'm just going over today, I'll just strictly keep it today. So this is a resistance right here. Why? Because we cannot get over it. We cannot get a single candle to close over it out of all of these candles, except this one, which was a fake out. So this is strong resistance, this $11. So this is pre-market. We want to be watching this stock the entire day, watching this resistance. Fast forward a couple of hours later, it tried to break the resistance again, but guess what? It couldn't. It got rejected. A couple of minutes after it got rejected, it tried to break resistance again, and it did. It fully closed above resistance with a ton of volume. Look at this volume. So it had around like 50K volume for the previous candles, and this volume had around 200,000 volume. This candle has 200,000 volume. So that just shows you have volume confirmation, you have a full candle close. So what you want to do is either you want to buy this break right here, or you want to buy this break right here, which would be a bit riskier than waiting for a retest, or you want to wait for a retest. You want to wait for it to come down to this candle right here and then bounce off it again. So this one came down to the candle. That's where you probably would have want to add right here. And it just continued ripping all the way into open. But yeah, here we have some support right here. We have some support, we have some resistance here. So you could have played this downtrend break right here as well in pre-market. Look at that, perfect downtrend break. All you have to do was wait right here. All you have to do was wait for a full candle close above resistance, which is what happened here. A candle fully closed above resistance, and that's how you could have played this setup. And then it just rode all the way up to almost $13. It came down at market open. You could see it started flushing. It bounced off this line right here. Now, why did it bounce off this specific line right here? Because this was previous resistance. We go back right here. It tried to break this line, couldn't, rejected. It tried to break it again, and it did break it, and it kept consolidating above it. That shows you that this line is strong support. So the next time it comes down to that line, you might want to buy. Next time it came down to that line, you would have added some at 1160. It went all the way to 12.10. That's a good 50-cent gain right there. And it kept consolidating above it. It broke it. Consolidated above this support right here. Now this one used to be our old resistance. So I'm going to change to the 5-minute chart. That way I can just flip through these easily. Okay, cool. This line right here. Now, when it came down, why did it bounce on these lines? On this line right here, on this blue line. I'm going to delete this one because this was old news. So why did it bounce on this line right here? Because this used to be old resistance. We couldn't get over this line. And now it became new support. So old resistance becomes new support. Old support becomes new resistance. It came down to this line. It bounced off a bit, then it broke it. And it just continued downtrend for the rest of the day. No volume, no momentum. Yeah, that was pretty much it for this one. Let me see if there's, yeah. But yeah, this is good support right here. But anyone have any questions on specifically life? Nothing else. We can talk about all of your questions related to other things after. Someone said you just use volume indicator on bottom. Yeah, volume is definitely one of the most important things. Yeah, I do. I use VWAP, MA20, MA50. How do I find these tickers? So the tickers I'm going over right now are just top gainers from today. So these are specifically for day trading. So not for swing trading or holding longer than a day, just for day trading. These are momentum trades that happen. You try to remove the grid lines. Yeah, so you right click on the chart settings shows up, you click chart settings, and then grid lines right there. Can you show trade idea settings? Sure, I believe we're gonna make a channel for that soon. When we do, we'll add everyone. Make sure you guys are in the server. Market Masters. I'm gonna post the link to the server. I don't know if you guys all should be in it, but if you aren't. Can you talk about trailing stops or moving up your stocks? Lifetime number? Yes, I'll do anything for y'all. Also, yeah, okay. So basically, I don't use any stop losses at all. I keep my stop losses mental because I don't want to be faked out by a stop loss. I don't want the price to just dip like right under. So let's just say I have my stop loss under the support, Alyssa. And let's just say I have my stop loss under this support, right when it went under, I would have been stopped out. And guess what? The next minute, the stock price went above the support. But if I have a mental stop loss, I can tell myself, okay, I'll wait for this candle to close, and then I'll see what happens on the next candle. So that's basically why I use a mental stop loss. And I don't like trailing stop losses at all. Definitely not. Not one of my things. It just goes off percentages or like dollar price. Not a good thing. Or moving up your stocks yet. Follow-up question, Alyssa? Let me know. How would one find these stickers at the beginning of the morning? Same thing, like top gainers. These are literally top gainers of the day. You would just search up top gainers, like see live at this point would definitely be one of the top gainers in pre-market. Okay, let's move on. What's next? What's next? SDC. So SDC has basically just been running off of short squeeze hype, nothing else. But yeah, so this has been running for a couple of days now. So it'd be best to show the 5-minute chart so I can show yesterday and today. So this is yesterday, this is today, this is after hours, and this and pre-market. So this first sign of support on this line right here, it came down and it bounced up again. So when it comes down today, you want to be like, oh shit, let me go chart yesterday. So if something's running today that ran yesterday, you need to go back to yesterday's chart and chart it out, because those same support and resistances that were being used yesterday are still going to be extremely important today. So when this happened right here, you should have been ready. You should have been ready on this first dip. When it came down to it, you should have been adding here and scale some, etc. Or you could start a swing position off this. I know a lot of people that I'm close with that started swing position around this area right here. But yeah, there was a ton of momentum and pre-market, but yeah, I didn't really see any good way to play this setup at all today. It's just like, yeah. I think Mini traded it in the morning as well, and he took a loss on it, but I will keep it on watch just in case it does short squeeze, because we've been seeing a lot. ATER, KPLT, you know, a lot of stocks have been just pulling off some big moves. So I will keep it on watch 100%. But yeah, it's all for STC. STC. Wait, what? Are you installing the Market Masters official head? Something like that. Something like that. Blue. Okay, let's see how we can explain this. Okay, so blue as well has been running. So like I just said a couple of minutes ago, I said that if something's running today, you want to go back to yesterday and chart it out. So blue, when it started running in the morning today, you would have been like, oh shit, I remember this ran yesterday. I'm going to go back to yesterday and I'm going to chart it. And look where resistance is at to yesterday. This is resistance, 515. Remember this point. You should have already noted this as resistance right when it started running. Now fast forward to today, when it started ripping at open, I definitely wouldn't have played this. It was just way too fast of a rip, and it was up a ton. Just wouldn't take any chances, but there is resistance right here. So if it did close a full candle above this resistance, I would have probably entered. That was a nice setup. And blue, if I remember correctly, it's just absolutely ripping on the daily chart. Broke almost all resistance in the near, you know, past year almost. Yeah, past year. So yeah, it did. Okay, where's the 1 minute? So if we're on the 1 minute right here, this is today. Like I was just saying, I'm gonna go to 5 minute. Yeah. If we did close a one candle above this, you know, this resistance line right here, I would have definitely played it, because you know, it was just looking super primed and lots of momentum. It was definitely the most popular thing in the morning. And if it closed above and went under, I would have taken my loss. That's a good loss, good risk reward. I would have cut my losses quick. But you know, as it was dumping into open, just could not break. You know, it could not last at all. It went down all the way to this 515 level, and it bounced up. And that's the same area we had this resistance on earlier. So if you had charted this out, you would have known as it was coming down, I'm gonna delete this because that's later on. As it was coming down, that this is a good support to be watching because why? Because it got rejected there yesterday. So this old resistance right here is now going to act as new support. So when it came down to this level, added some and then scaled on the run. But yeah, and then there's some support right here from these after hour ads. But yeah, that's pretty much it for blue. Only one way I possibly would have played this is definitely on this area right here. It's downtrend. This right here. Perfect. Resistance, broke, number it. It tried to also break this candle. I mean, this resistance again, almost the end of day, and it failed. It couldn't close above it, and it just dumped within the next minute. Next to NNBC. Okay, I'm gonna switch over to the 1 minute for this. So we started off our run. Okay. What is this line? Okay, cool. Okay, so we started off our run around this area yesterday and after hours. We came down, we consolidated above this area. We went up, we got rejected, we came back, we consolidated to the same exact area we had consolidated to a couple minutes before. That's our new support. This is confirmed support. Then we went back up, we got rejected the first time right here by the same resistance. So far, by this time already, we should have one support and one resistance. This is our support. This is our resistance. So there's two ways we can play this. We can buy when it comes down to support again, or we can buy when it breaks this line right here. So let's see what happens. Will it get rejected down to support where we can buy, or will it break resistance? So it did break resistance. It closed one candle above this resistance. That could have been your ad entry right there. Good volume, strong volume. And you would have just scaled into 5.4s. And 5.4 is pre-market high. That's a resistance right there. And for the rest of the day, we just consolidated. We came back down to this old resistance, which is now new support. We bounced for a bit. We ended up breaking it and going over it again. But as I said before in plenty of other live calls, the first couple of minutes into open are really extremely volatile. And, you know, and okay, so the first couple of minutes into open are extremely volatile, and I never hold, you know, stocks that I'm scalping into open. It's just, you never know what happens. Like you see this candle, how volatile it was. It opened, you know, it opened at 490. It went all the way up to 5.02, and then it closed at 480. So it's just way too volatile. Any rules? Yeah, this is probably one of my biggest rules right here. Is just don't hold anything you're scalping into open, which is 6:30 PST, 9:30 Eastern. So that's why it's just so volatile. It broke under it, then it ripped back above it. We hit this area right here, which is resistance. We came back down to the support. We broke it, and we just headed down to this support, which was our same support, if you remember. So this right here, I would have probably entered this on this dip buy. I would have probably added some here, and this would have been a loss, a bad trade. It wasn't a bad trade. It was, you know, it was a good trade, but I would have taken a loss on it, just because the reason I would enter is because it used to be old resistance, and it's been confirmed as support. And I would have entered and just stopped out right when it, you know, when it went under. So that would have been like a 10-cent loss for a good like 30-40% risk of me gaining. So it's a good risk reward trade. But I would have taken a loss on this if I did enter, and it just kept consolidating. It came back down to this line. Now, why do we have this line drawn out? Why do we have this line drawn out right here? Because if we go back in time, you can see right here, the first moment it spiked, it consolidated above this line. This was its support. And we still have that drawn out. So when it comes down, we add some, we could just scalp it very easy. And this was when momentum was already dried out, and it just kept bouncing off this support. Eventually ended up going to 484. So this is a good 40 cents risk. I mean, reward compared to like the 5 cents risk that you'd have by stopping out under this line. So it's a very good trade, just adding right here and just scalping it over and over again. But yeah, that's pretty much it for NNBC. Anyone have any questions on this specific ticker? Up gainer, yeah, sure. To the top. It should have only showed 20. Are you on mobile? It only shows 20. It should show a lot more than 20. Well, that's just how Webull works, I guess. Yahoo Finance, Finviz, there's a lot of other websites that do the same thing. But yeah, let's continue. We will give you real-time data for free. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if Webull is free, so you can sign up for the broker, obviously, but I don't know if you need to sign up to get real time. Okay, let's do KPLT. KPLT. So this has been running for the past like week or something. And you can see it's just up, down, up, down. It's really consolidating it. I'm gonna delete all these lines. And consolidating with this resistance right here. I feel like 780, even 795 break will be huge. And this support. With a lot of, in between support and resistances. But yeah, today, let's go over today. I used a 5 minute. It was just a complete bust. Thing, was about to make a nice move into open, good momentum. You can see the volume when everyone thought, oh shit, I think this is about to make a new high of day, new high of month, whatever it is. But it just could not break the 7.6 area. Yeah, I would say the 7.6 area. It just could not break this area. And it tried 1, 2, 3 times. Couldn't break it, got rejected, and just flew all the way down to 647. And yeah, it just died for the rest of the day. No momentum, no volume. Yeah, but KPLT definitely wouldn't have had the opportunity to play this today because just looking at it, it was just not many possible good trades at all. But yeah, we're over 8 turn. Second, y'all. Gotta do something. Okay, cool, I'm back. Okay, let's do Aether. So Aether, I was really expecting a 20 break today. I really thought it was going to be high, but Aether and KPLT have been running, like around the same way, and they both started off, at the beginning of the market open with good spikes. They tried to break both the resistance. Like, let me compare this. Watch. Look at Aether right here. Look how they tried to break, and then now look at KPLT and how it also tried to break at open, but then dumped. And if we look at Aether, this was down to like 50% from its high, which is just wow. I wonder how many bag holders are bagging this now, but yeah. I don't know. I would really not touch this whatsoever. Jeez, disgusting. That must ruin a lot of people's accounts. But yeah, definitely I would not touch this. We could have played some. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have played this today. Let's see, yeah, well, I'm gonna switch to the 5 minute chart. Chart this downtrend. So yeah, this is probably the only thing that would have been good to play with today. this downtrend right here. It was downtrending for a good 3 hours almost. No, 2 hours. And right when it broke that downtrend right here, it closed above it. That's from 11.53, went all the way to 12.50. So that's a good $1 profit, you know, and that's when it broke this downtrend. So, you know, after a good 1 hour went by, you should have already had seen like this is making lower lows. I should start graphing this downtrend and playing the break of it. And we can switch over to the 1 minute chart and see how that went. You know, look at this downtrend. Could not break this line at all. Just a bit. Could not break this line. And right when it broke over it, candle closed above it, came back down just a bit, and just ripped from there. But yeah, that's pretty much the only way I would have played this. And then we could have charted this downtrend, which it never broke. Oh. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today, guys. You can see how I'll see you later, Mohammed. You can see how when it was forming this wedge, it broke under, tried to break above it again, but it couldn't really break above it, and it got rejected and it just downtrended down. Yeah, but that's all. I'm gonna have to head out now. Some construction. I'm gonna go out, grab some lunch. This recording will be up later on the YouTube channel. Have a good rest of your day. I'll see you guys later.